What's up? This is Gilbert Arenas rocking with the 3-Point Conversion Radio. Y'all tune in. Holla at your boy.
You guys have as much trouble in the pick and roll defensively as it looked, and if so, what was the issue tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did a very, very good job of just putting their head down and coming downhill. I mean, that's really all it was. And they did a good job screening. I thought our guys battled and fought, to try to get through. But, obviously, when they were coming downhill, we obviously was hard for us getting back on the ball. And then, we were trying to rim protect. And then obviously having a closeout was a challenge. But I think their aggressiveness by Korkmaz, by Curry, Shake Milton, Maxey, I mean, those guys were just really, really coming downhill, really, really aggressively and pretty hard.
Good on the ball defensively. What was the difference tonight? And Sixers team seems like
well, obviously, I think they do a really good job of screening, in particular Drummond and Embiid. So they're creating a little bit of separation, and generally your guards are having to work to try to get back on the ball as best they can, and those guys are good. They got good foot speed. So when Curry comes off and when Korkmaz comes off and even Maxey and Milton come off, they got good foot speed. So it's really hard to get back on them a little bit. And we tried to do some different things in terms of bringing the coverage up a little bit higher. We tried to blitz a few times. But those guards I thought tonight did a really good job. And then I thought they made some very, very timely shots. When we were constantly trying to get back in the game, I think Niang threw one in at the end of the shot clock, which was big. And then there was another big three later. And then obviously closing it out, they made some big shots late in the clock as well.
Like the kind of the perimeter, like the perimeter defense. You guys are big on the perimeter, and sometimes those quick guys can. It's hard to stay in front of them. Obviously, it's hard for anybody, but Kemba Walker kind of gave you problems too. But with you guys playing a big perimeter guys,
yeah, I mean I think that they're good players. Obviously, Embiid draws a lot of attention. And because he's such a presence at the basket, and even when he's putting the ball down on the floor and he's in the middle of the floor, and you're trying to give some support, you're trying to give some help, to him in certain areas of the floor, and then a lot of times you're in those kind of closeout situations you're talking about where, their quickness and speed to dribble, drive, and do those things becomes a little bit more challenging.
Game where you guys kind of fall behind early and then have the push late. You talked about that kind of becoming a little bit of a trend early in the season after practice the other day. What do you think is behind that? What did you see in regards to that tonight?
I actually thought we started well, to be honest with you. I mean, we got up, I don't know where, by maybe 5 or 7 points. We started the game well. I thought the end of the first quarter, second quarter was not great. That's really kind of where we dug ourselves a hole and we were playing catch up after that. I thought the second quarter, we gave, I think it was a 30+ quarter for them. And then we didn't shoot the ball particularly well or score the ball well. And that was the quarter. But I actually thought we started the game well. Like, I don't know what the score was. We got up by maybe 5 or 7 points there, but it wasn't like the game started and we were down 10. That certainly progressed, I think, once we got into the second quarter.
I think it was 30-32 midway through the second quarter. You're down 10 at the half, and then you're fighting back throughout the third and fourth. What did you think went wrong that led to that kind of script flipping?
Well, I didn't listen. If you really break it down, the last 2 times we played them, I think they've made twice as many threes as we've made. We took 30 free throws, so I think we tried to get downhill. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well in both games against them from the 3-point line. And if you really look at it, the 3-point line was different. That was the difference in the game, both games. And, like I said, you don't want to put, whether it be Tony or Vooch, whoever it is on Embiid, on an island by themselves. He had 20 points in the first half, and a lot of it was on jump shots and ISOs. And when he starts posting up, trying to find ways to, just break his rhythm as much as you can. So you're having to obviously close out. But, we didn't shoot the ball particularly well. And I think in both games, if you look at it, the rebounding and the turnovers are pretty equal. The biggest differential is the 3-point line. I mean, that was the biggest differential in the game here again tonight.
What's your take on Vooch's struggles?
He's great. He's a great player and he's a great team guy. I think he's really trying to figure out, and you can speak to him about it. I think he's trying to figure out how to play with a lot of different guys. He's got a lot of different guys in pick and roll situations, screening actions with him, and I said this I think maybe after practice the other day, like we've got to all do a better job, me included, in trying to find different ways to find him, and again, I thought we did a better job to start the game. I thought he had some pretty good looks tonight. I thought we got him a good number of shots. It was obviously twice as many as we got him. The last time we played Philly, I thought he was more involved in the offense. He's a guy that obviously is going to generate offense, create, movement, get the ball to the second side. But he hasn't shot the ball well. But I think that's more of a comfort thing more than it is that would be worried about him.
Does he still look confident to you offensively?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought the Utah Jazz game was a perfect indication of that. He had a really hard shooting night. And he made a couple shots late that really helped us win the game. Even tonight, he made a big three at the top. It's not like he's turning him down. But I do think we've got to, I think as he works with these guys, we've got to help him find a better rhythm, in my opinion, because, when you're in a pick and roll situation and you're trying to screen and then you're getting out of the screen, sometimes when you're getting it, you want to be able to get it in rhythm. And there's obviously a connection to all that stuff. And I do think DeMar and Zach and Alex Caruso and Io and Lonzo, they're all looking for him to try to get him in those situations where they can help him play in rhythm. So it's not anything that somebody's not doing. It's just, I think there's a learning curve for him playing with all these guys.
Do you want him to have the attitude to shoot his way through a slump, or do you think adjustments and maybe not shooting as many threes is something that you should adjust when it's not working?
I tried to get him down inside a little bit more than I did the first game. I think I made a comment after the first game. I needed to try to help him a little bit more. I mean, we ran some cross screen stuff for him to get him in the post. He kicked it out to Zach one time for a three, I think, to start the game and start the third quarter. I thought he had both pretty good looks in around the basket. He just didn't make them. We posted him a little bit more, and he does a good job passing the ball out of the post. But I think as a guy that's in my opinion, a 40% 3-point shooter, he needs to feel confidence from me, the group, and himself that he's got to take those shots. I think that when he's open, he's got to shoot the ball for me.
You generally like to allow guys to play their game.
I'm sorry.
I know you like to allow guys to play their game, but a lot of guys are shooting a lot of long twos. You kind of mentioned it with 3-pointers earlier. Is that something that you'd like to see, some of those long twos turn into threes? Do you like the sort of numbers that you guys are taking there?
Yeah, I think we've got to get better personally at the point of the plays you're talking about. We got to be a more aggressive, more attacking, and more downhill than we've been. And I do think they're all figuring each other out. But I think if you look at, Philly tonight, and I mentioned earlier, their guards, it was screen, downhill, screen, downhill, screen, down. That's what it was. And we're coming off, and at times we're like probing, and we're really not going, and we're getting, with their length and their size and their physicality, that's a hard way to live, and then you get caught, to your point, in a lot of that mid-range area. Now, like DeMar, to me, like he's just an efficient player, because when he gets in that area, not only does he shoot a high percentage, but he gets fouled a lot. He was really efficient tonight offensively, where he didn't really necessarily take a lot of shots, but he got to the free throw line a ton tonight. So, I'm okay with certain situations, but especially with him, but I do think we can't get caught in no man's land coming off pick and roll. We've got to be a little bit more decisive. I think the more decisive we are, the more it's going to help Vooch personally.
I feel like what I've noticed in the deficits, and you said of falling behind, it seems like once you get a deficit, then they start playing faster, push the ball out and push. In the first half, they don't seem to play very fast. And you've been talking all season about this team needs to play.
We have to play fast. We have to play fast. I think that, whether it's them reading the game or whatever it may be, the more we're in an attacking, aggressive mode. Now, in fairness to the guys, in my opinion, I didn't think our defense was very good. I thought the first half was really slowed. I thought we took the ball out of the net quite often in that first half, which did not really enable us to run as much as I would have liked to. I thought after we had that timeout in the third quarter, we kind of came out of that timeout. We had a couple deflections, we had a couple steals, and then the pace of the game got going better. I think that for us, we've got to really put our focus on being elite defensively as best we can, because if we're just going to take the ball to the net all the time, it's hard for anybody to fast break and play fast with the ball being out of the net. I think they shot 50+% in the first half from the field. You're going to be in a very, very low possession walk-up game. It's very hard to run on teams and get a lot of transition, easy baskets, or even penetration where you're taking the ball to the net. Now, I do think, to your point, Sam, we got to play with more of a thrust. I don't think we're coming down. Even maybe we're not going to shoot the ball quickly, but we've got to come down with more force. We've got to be able to do that.
Seems like we're doing it first 3 or 4 games.
Yes, I
And then
agree.
Now we get down.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is you have to look at, we played Detroit, and that was a really, really low scoring game. There was a lot of missed shots. Neither team broke 100 the first game. So when you're playing in that low game, the game's getting like this. There was quite a few free throws for us tonight. They shot the ball well. Some of those early games, because if teams don't shoot the ball particularly well, you're going to see us play a lot faster. I think we got to play with a little bit better of a thrust on made baskets personally.
That third quarter timeout, Billy, do you remember your general message during that timeout? Because that's when it seemed like the personality of your attack changed a little bit.
No, I mean, we talked about some thing. I think DeMar stepped up and really, had some great things to say, just that we need to be more aggressive. We need to be more physical. We need to attack. We need to play, more aggressively. And I think that his message resonated there in that timeout. I was basically talking to them about pretty much the same thing. I think he was kind of echoing the same thing, but we came out and we did a better job. But, listen, we fought our way back in the game. And I've said this before, when you dig yourself a hole by double digits and you're fighting your way back, the Boston game, okay, great. But it's very, very more often than not, you're not going to be able to come back and find a way to get back in the game. And I said this, it's a hard way to live that way. And, we've got to be able to, when we're not shooting the ball well, and we didn't shoot the ball great tonight, we've got to find other means to be able to win. And they're obviously a good offensive team. With certainly the way they played tonight, the way they shot the ball the last 2 games against us from 3, we still got to be able to try to defend a little bit better and generate more offense for us off of our defense.
One more from Zoom, so go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, Coach. Marta Kiszko from Polish magazine Loża. I have a question. What have you seen tonight defensively from Alex Caruso?
Well, I think Alex is a very, very good defender. He's guarded a lot of different guys on the perimeter. He's got really good length and size. He's physical. I think he takes a lot of pride in defense. I think that's why he's good at it.